The heroes arrive in Arnholm and get lodging. They assign the duties of establishing contacts in the city to the Skyhorn Bilzadi and the smuggler-turned-servant Samson. While resting in Arnholm and getting ready for their mission to search for one called Warren, Bilzadi bumps into a fellow cleric named Trondir. Bilzadi introduces Trondir to Yegar, Osiris, and Dorvili, who invite the young priest to accompany them. They are in need of someone knowledgeable of the surrounding lands, and the young cleric is in search of adventure. Trondir gets permission to leave his duties for a few days to work for holy purposes amongst the villages of Oldenwood. Bilzadi volunteers to stay in Arnholm with Samson and make further contacts, which may be needed should the party return to the city with no clues. Yegar, Osiris, Trondir, and Dorvili make their way south along the road to the town of Beldale, where they have a hard time getting information about Warren. Trondir does get a lead from Warren's old friend, who had left Beldale in disgrace but has since returned and is trying to rebuild his reputation. His name is Ulmor, and he tells them that last he heard, Warren was living in the hamlet of Griddick. Ulmor explains that he and Warren were gambling in the hamlet, but then got into trouble with the locals and found it hard to find work. Ulmor also mentioned seeing Warren a couple of months ago with some religious types. According to Ulmor, the group is led by one called Sorn, who had in the past been pestering the two to join his following. Ulmor mentions that Sorn and his men live at the ruins in West Oldenwood. The party goes to the hamlet of Griddick. The barkeep at the only tavern, the Broken Bench, says Warren has a large tab and has not been back in a few weeks. He mentions Warren sometimes is with strangers who come into the village every now and again on their way to the old spider mine. When talking to the hamlet's warden, an ebon blade named Gorbin, the party learns that the old spider mine is a place that hasn't been used in over 100 years. It has supposedly collapsed, but has since seen some activity, mostly vagabonds who are staying in the old tunnels. It is well known that there isn't anything of value left in the mine. The party decides to make their way over to the ruins and investigate. When they get there, they hear voices. They attempt stealth in their approach, but Trondir's clumsy missteps alert the men, who all start shouting invaders and go for their weapons. The party jumps to meet them and does battle with 5 unseemly-looking types. Soon after, 2 crossbowmen on a ledge nearby start shooting bolts down, wounding Dorvili, who gets really angry and in a barbaric rage rushes up the cliff to bash the 2. During the battle, the party experiences a strange sense of weakness that hinders their ability to fight, but only for a brief moment. Trondir suffers some bad wounds that need tending. As the fight winds down, the party kills 4, takes 3 prisoner, and then go into a large tent at the top of a ledge. Inside, they see 2 more fully armored dwarfs who stand as guardians to Sorn, who tries to offer the party gold if they will just leave. Yegar makes it known he is looking for Warren, and Sorn explains that Warren was taken into service by their group, which he says is named Sons of Dawn Throne. He explains Warren is currently laboring for them to pay off his debts to their order. Sorn does a poor job in his diplomacy with the party. Dorvili, with patience low, leads the attack and the 2 guards are taken down. Sorn, halfway through the fight, tries to escape through the back of the tent, but Yegar tackles him to the ground, and he is also taken prisoner. Inspecting the ruins, the party finds a wagon, 4 ponies, barrels of food, water, ale, and supplies enough for living in the forest. They also find a large chest with ceremonial robes bearing the symbol of lightning coming out of a sword. Trondir remembers this symbol from his duties. It is the sign of a religious cult from centuries before that led a rebellion in the Valley Kingdom. It was under the control of one called Molab, and the group called itself Dawn Throne. The rebellion was put down in a conflict that came to be known as the War of Darkmount. A large iron door is built into the side of the ledge, and Trondir reads the religious symbology, making a connection between a quote from the holy book of the Behedro Thum and the number of nearby graves that have been marked with small piles of stones. The key to the door is located in the 4th pile, in connection to the 4th son in the story. As the party looks at the iron door, they weigh whether or not to enter or head south to the old spider mine to get Warren.